Okay, in this video we're going to be talking about, once again, determining income, but now we're going to be talking about a percentage. So we're going to be talking about when your salary is based off a percentage of maybe sales if you're a salesman, production if you are producing something, or or something other than that. So, all right, now the big idea is the total sales times, that's a multiplication sign, times the percentage as a decimal, okay? And that's going to give you your commission, all right? And we'll talk more about that as the video rolls on. So here, let's go ahead and just dive into example number one. Adriana wrote a textbook at high school students. She receives a 10%, here we go, there we go, royalty based off the total sales of the book. The book sells for $47.95 and 17,000 copies were sold last year. How much did, I'm guessing that's Adriana, receive in royalty payments? All right, now notice going back to the big idea, it is the total sales times the percentage. Well, the percentage is easy, it's 10%. So it's going to be something times 0.1 because that's 10% as a decimal. Now the total sales, let me see if I can clean this up a little bit, and that is a textbook sells for $47.95, basically $48, and 17,000 of them were sold. So very simply, I'm going to take $47.97. All right, so when I multiply those two together, I got, looks like 815,000. $150. So this is my total sales times 10%, and so that's going to be 8151. Looks like $8,151.50. So how much was did she receive in royalty payments for that year? $8,151.50. All right. Example number two. Allison sells cosmetics part-time for door-to-door. She is paid monthly commission. She receives 11%, well, once again, percentage, that's going to be good, for her first $900 in sales, and 17% of the balance of her, I guess the remainder, anything beyond 900, she's going to get 17%. So last month she sold 1,250 worth of cosmetics. How much? All right, so what we have here is 1,250. I'm going to break this down to a diagram, hopefully, maybe. All right, now it says she receives 11% of her first $900. All right, so the first $900, she's going to get 11% of that. Okay, but notice she sold 1,250, so that's an additional $350 that she's now going to get, now keep reading, and 17% of the balance. Now what that means is, the balance is the remainder. So the remaining part is 350 that she's going to get 17% of. So very simply what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 900 by 11%. I'm going to multiply 350 times 17%. Remember it's going to be 0.17 and 0.11. And then when I get my answers, I'm going to add them together. And I end up with $158.50. All right. Example number three. Now, feel free to pause the video so you can work it yourself, and then you can resume it and have me explain it. So Kate works in a dress factory and makes dresses for designer boutiques. She is paid a piecework rate of $85 per unit. So that means every dress she makes, she gets $85. Yesterday she made 3 dresses. Well, if she gets $85 per dress and she made 3 of them, very simply, I'm just going to take 85 multiplied by 3. That's easy. All right, example 4. Tony picks strawberries and gets paid at a piecework rate of 45 cents per container for the first 200 containers picked. He receives 65 cents for anything over $200 or 200 containers. Now, last week, Tony picked 270. All right. Now, this example is exactly like the example down here, where the person is getting paid based off of the first, in this case, example number 2, the first $900, and then everything beyond that, she gets paid a different rate. Same thing here. So Tony is getting paid a certain amount for the first 200 containers and then a second amount. So what you have to do is, once again, take 270, remember 270, 200, and he's getting a rate of 45 cents per container. So it'll be 200 times 45 cents. Now remember, 45 cents is 0.45. And then the remaining part is 70. and he is going to get 65 cents per there for each of those 70. So very simply, 200 times 45 cents, 70 times 65, add them together, and you get your answer. Joyce works at Fertinanos, I guess, I don't know, at a furniture store. He is paid on, or she is paid on commission. She receives 10% of the first $900 in sales, and then 15% of the rest, or in this case, of the balance. She earned 750. What was her total value? Well, 750 falls under $900, so that means we're just going to take 750 and then multiply it by 10%, which is 0.1, which I believe gives me 75 bucks. All right. All right, let's do some examples here. Rock musician Donnie West is paid 15% on his CD sales and tour video sales. Last year he sold 1 million CDs for that. The CDs were sold music stores that. All right, so what is the total amount of CD sales? Well, let's see. CD sales, CDs were sold to the music store for $5. And so let's see. Last year he sold and he sold 1 million CDs. Just read the question. So what was the total amount? $5 for $5, and he sold 1 million of them. That will be 5 million. Remember, I'm writing with my mouse here. What is the total amount of video sales? Well, video sales, let me clean this up a little bit, is $6. So he's selling videos at $6, and he sold that many. So he got 3,300,000. So what was the combined total of the CD and video sales? Well, very simply, I'm just going to take all of this and add it together to get this. And lastly, it says, how much did Donnie West receive in royalties last year? Well, it says in the problem, let me mark some of this out. He is getting paid 15% of his total sales. So you're going to take whatever this answer is, which I believe is 8,300,000, and we are going to multiply it by 15% to get our answer. John sells new cars, or question 2. John sells new cars at the local dealership. Joan, she receives 15% commission on profit each car sold for. Last month she sold 9 cars. That's extra information. All right. It just says last month she sold 9 cars. Here we go. For a total of 8,870. So this is her total sales, and she is going to get 25% of that. So 25,000 times 8,870, and you'll get your answer. I think I said 25%. I don't know what I said on question 3 or 2. All right, 3. Liz works at this computer outlet place. She receives a weekly salary of $200 plus a 3% commission on her sales. All right. Now, we haven't actually had a question on this. Okay, so pay attention. 3% on her sales. She sold 29,700. How much did she earn last week? Now, she's already going to get $200. All right, that's a base salary. So even if she sells nothing, 0, she's going to get $200. That's her base salary. Now, 3% of 29,700. So 3% of 29,700. Let's see. So very simply, I'm just going to take 3%, multiply it by this. Now remember, 3% of that is going to be 0.03. So make sure you type it in correctly, and that is going to be $891. So she's already getting a base of 200 plus the commission, which we found out to be $891. You add it up, boom, that's how you get your week's commission or your week paycheck. All right, question number 4. Oscar sells internet subscriptions by phone. He receives 12% of the first 1,000 and then 15% on the balance over 1,000. He sold 7,500. All right, so once again, this goes back to like example number 2 and 4, I think. 7,500. The first 1,000, he's going to get 12%. So that's 12%. Everything else, it's 6,500. He's going to get 15%. I'm sorry, I went ahead and converted that to a decimal. So 15%. So very simply, I'm just going to take the 1,000, multiply it by 12, the 6,500, multiply it by 15 or 15%, and I'm just going to add the two together, get my answer. And so that is, and I'm just going to stop there because we ran out of time. So let me know if you have any questions when you see me again in class. Thank you.